Hey, Jimbo. Son. Karsten. What do you want? Hey, what are your thoughts on 8th grade? A few nights ago, I got the chance to see one of my most anticipated films of the year, 8th grade. Following the screening, there was a Q&A with Bo Burnham. I almost got the chance to ask him a question, but they cut it off. But regardless, I had a really fun time. Now, as for the movie, it's it's pretty good. I don't want to say it's this year's Lady Bird because they're two completely different movies, but if I had to compare it to anything, it would be that, and even that's a stretch. My point is that this movie kind of stands in its own little box. It takes a lot of mainstream concepts and puts their own little A24 Bo Burnham style on them. It's also super original in terms of its general concept. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's tons of movies and TV shows about middle school and whatnot, but they never seem to take themselves as seriously as they should, and with that being said, we end up with films like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and nothing with a real substance to it. And that sucks because 8th grade really is a terrible, terrible year. And it's like that for a bunch of different reasons, and it's very complicated. And no film has seemed to address it. It really is like the last year, or maybe even the year, where people start to realize things about life. And with all that being said, I thought that this film addressed that incredibly well. Given the subject matter and the fact that Bo Burnham wrote and directed it, I was kind of expecting it to be pretty funny. And boy, oh boy, did it blow me out of the water in that aspect. The jokes are perfectly timed. They aren't corny like a lot of Bo Burnham's actual comedy, in my opinion. I'm sorry if you enjoy it. I understand if you enjoy it. It's just not really my thing. There's a lot of visual comedy in this thing, as in there's a lot of jokes that could only be told through film, through editing, and sound, which is super nice to see coming from a comedian. You see, what this film does super well with its humor is taking one idea and using it to its fullest potential. No spoilers, but there are certain ideas in here where I'm like, are they gonna go there? And oh boy, do they go there. I just think that this film does humor exactly how I want a film to do humor, and I know that's of course pretty subjective. That's just kind of what I enjoy in a movie, but I can't really see you watching this and not smiling at least once. They ended up running out of time for the Q&A, and I never got to ask him a question, but I was going to ask him how he was able to accurately depict 8th grade in 2018 without going through it himself. That's a part of this film that worked super well that really blew me out of the water. Since basically 9th grade, I've had this fascination with middle school and how bad it is. I just think it's a super interesting concept with loads of potential, and the small details that made it what it is are all in this film. This movie paid such attention to detail, and I'm so glad it did, because for the first time since that period of time in my life, I really felt like I was back in middle school. Now, don't get me wrong, this film is not a straight up comedy by any means. It has a very heavy dramatic side to it. I won't get into it, but all I'll say is that it kind of delivered the exact amount of substance that I wanted. This is why I compare it to Lady Bird. Not because it's a coming of age film, not because it's A24, not because it's an artsy school movie, but because it blended comedy and drama flawlessly. This film, a film about 8th grade, told a certain subject in one of the most impactful ways I've ever seen. It was one of the first times that I felt like a film grabbed me by the throat and forced me to understand every single inch of a topic. Now, before I wrap things up, I can't really talk about this film's greatness without bringing up Elsie Fisher. She absolutely blew me away with this performance. The amount of depth and different sides to her character and her acting was amazing. It was so exciting to watch her on screen. To be honest, I don't even know if there are that many professional adult actors that could have pulled off the performance that she gave in this thing. Bo put it pretty nicely in his Q&A when he described her job as performing a performance within itself, and she did it amazingly. To summarize, 8th grade is funny, it's heartbreaking, it's accurate, it's entertaining, it's incredibly rewatchable, it's colorful, it's well shot, it's well acted, and it's significant. My best way of putting it is that this movie is a movie that I didn't know I needed in my life until now, and I cannot wait to see it again. I'm going to give 8th grade a 5 out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out 8th grade in theaters July 13th, and I'll see you guys in the next one.